meeting number 12 of the Subcommittee on International Human Rights. For those watching live proceedings, I'm joined by the following members of the subcommittee: Vice Chair Kenny Chiu, Vice Chair Alexi Brunel-Duceppe, MP Ikra Khalid, MP Heather McPherson, MP Jennifer O'Connell, MP Scott Reed, and MP Anita Vandenbeld. I'm also joined by the Chair of the Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs and International Development, MP Sven Spangman. Before I make my opening remarks, and to ensure an orderly meeting, I'd encourage all participants to mute their microphones when they're not speaking and to address all comments through the chair. When you have 30 seconds left in your speaking time, I will signal you with this paper. Interpretation is available through the globe icon on the bottom of your screen. Please note that screen captures or photos are not permitted. We're meeting here today to mark a very special occasion, the recognition of three remarkable women who've dedicated their lives to promoting and protecting human rights. Nasreen Sotoudeh, a human rights lawyer from Iran. Loujain Al-Hathloul, a women's rights activist in Saudi Arabia. And Tamara Adrian, a human rights and LGBTQI activist in Venezuela. While this marks the second time the subcommittee recognizes women human rights defenders, it is not a coincidence that this year we chose International Women's Day for this event, a global day to celebrate the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. As the Subcommittee on International Human Rights, we recognize that women human rights defenders specifically face unique challenges. While they fight for the rights of all people, their gender poses an additional risk. In 2019, the subcommittee tabled a report entitled Raising Her Voice, confronting the unique challenges facing women human rights defenders. In its report, the subcommittee underscored that many women human rights defenders experience a host of human rights challenges, abuses, and violations. The obstacles women human rights defenders must overcome are unimaginable to many of us. They face threats and resistance from state institutions, private sector actors, and sometimes their own communities and families. Remarkably, many of these women continue to defend the human rights of all, knowing that it will negatively impact their lives. It is undeniable that respect for human rights is owed to the courage of women human rights defenders across the globe. Throughout the course of the subcommittee's work, members hear from many inspirational people who defend human rights all over the world. Tonight's event is our subcommittee's effort to commend and recognize their outstanding contributions. Selecting only three was a challenging process. The subcommittee, however, unanimously agreed that these three women are a testament to the extraordinary sacrifices that women make in this field. Without further ado, I have the honor now of presenting the Speaker of the House of Commons, the Honorable Anthony Rota, who will introduce these remarkable women. Speaker Rota.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. And members of the Subcommittee on International Human Rights, distinguished guests, mesdames et messieurs, j'aurais tellement aimé pouvoir vous accueillir.
I would so much have liked to welcome you in person. Nevertheless, I'm so pleased to meet you virtually.
Invitation to participate in this recognition ceremony, and I am proud to introduce tonight's honorees. Nasreen Sotoudeh, Loujain Al-Hathloul, and Tamara Adrian. Former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said, "We declare that human rights are for all of us, all the time, whoever we are and wherever we are from, no matter our class, our opinions, our sexual orientation. Les femmes que nous reconnaissons."
The women whom we are recognizing and applauding here tonight are devoted to that principle that all have a right to live freely, fully, and openly. They face different struggles, specific struggles in their environments, but they have a common aim to gain for all true equality in their societies. Despite the obstacles, these remarkable people are struggling to create a better world, and we owe them a good deal for this.
Privileged to introduce are the embodiment of courage, compassion, and determination. As has been well documented, each of these human rights defenders has faced a unique set of challenges, and each has persevered in the face of discrimination, threats, and physical harm, and even imprisonment to improve the lives of their fellow citizens. Nazarene Sotoudeh has worked as a lawyer in Iran, specializing in human rights cases for the past 3 decades, representing political dissidents and women protesting the compulsory hijab. She was first arrested for her work in 2010 and held in detention for 3 years. She was ultimately released, but in March 2019 was again arrested and sentenced to corporal punishment and 38 years in prison. She has staged numerous hunger strikes from prison to draw attention to the plight of political prisoners in Iran. Ms. Sotoudeh has been the recipient of numerous awards on her activism and made the BBC's 2020 list of most inspiring 100 women. Diplômée de l'Université de Colombie-Britannique.
With a degree from the great new Canadian University, Margaret Ngee is an important woman as of 2013 when she got involved in the movement Women to Drive, Nasreen Sotoudeh. She also became a leader in the movement to put an end to men's guardianship and helped to create a shelter for women fleeing domestic violence. She was arrested in Saudi Arabia in May 2018 for active campaigning for women's rights to drive and has been detained since then in prison, subject to solitary confinement and torture, including electric shocks and sexual assault. On the 28th of December 2020, she was convicted by Saudi Arabia's specialized criminal court for seeking to, and I quote, change the Saudi political system and harming national security, end of quote. She was then sentenced to 5 years and 8 months of imprisonment. However, given that 2 years and 10 months of the sentence were suspended and her time in pretrial confinement counted as time served, she is scheduled for release and has been released on the 10th of February 2021.
To the Venezuelan National Assembly in 2015 as a member of the Popular Will, Voluntad Popular Party, and was the first transgender legislator ever elected in Venezuela. She was not reelected in the election held in December 2020. She has been a human rights activist in the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex community in Venezuela and Latin America for decades. She has served as a board member for numerous international LGBTQI organizations, including the Committee of the International Day Against Homophobia and Transphobia and the International Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Trans, and Intersex Association. While in the National Assembly, Ms. Adrian drafted and submitted a gender identity law, a civil partnership law, a non-discrimination law, and a civil registry law to the National Assembly, though none were ever discussed. These 3 women who have suffered persecution and mistreatment for their championing of human rights are deserving of our admiration and our gratitude. This event is one way of demonstrating our solidarity with them and in recognizing their invaluable contribution to the defense of human rights. I hope that we will amplify their call to create a more equitable world for all. Thank you. Merci.
Well, thank you, Speaker Rhoda. for those just extraordinary remarks, very powerful, and so commendable for what you've said about these three remarkable women. I now will invite each recipient or the representative to make their remarks. We'll begin with Shaprak Shazarizadeh. Will read a statement from Nazrin Sotoudeh's husband, Riza Khandan. Please go ahead, Mrs. Shazarizadeh.
Thank you so much. It's dear Chairman and the honorable members of the Canadian Parliament. It's such an honor. I'm reading Nasrin Sotoudeh's husband, Reza Khandan's letter to you. Dear Chairman and honorable members of the Canadian Parliament, hereby I would like to express my greetings and congratulate on International Women's Day. We are extremely glad that you have decided to honor human rights and women's rights defenders on this important day. I, on behalf of my wife, Nasrin Sotoudeh, should express my cordial gratitude to have this honor. I would like to use this opportunity to express my happiness on the release of Miss Loujain Al-Hathloul on behalf of my wife. Although her freedom is conditional, it's my honor to give a speech together with her in the same event. Women's rights violation has been a serious concern of human rights activists all over the world. In the meantime, countries like Iran have made violation of women's rights systematic and legitimize it by law. In other words, in Iran, women are violated first by common social traditions and second by the government which has legalized these restrictions. The good news is that in spite of all these restrictions, women try to defend their rights truly, and of course there are men who accompany them. Although our country is located in a region where women are under increasing violence, resistance in women and the change in men's attitude gradually shows another image. Although misogynistic governments in power are more prevalent in this region rather than the rest of the world, and they tend to violate women's rights, women's efforts and the change in the attitude of every single person have led to diminish the courage of misogynistic figures. Public opinion support for human rights and women's rights defenders has helped women's empowerment. However, these misogynistic governments still show resistance to recognize women's rights. In Iran, sentences which have been made by the Revolutionary Court against women's rights activists would shock anyone with conscience. The same courts whose primary goal was to prosecute the former regime's officials are still marking harsh verdicts such as life imprisonment, death penalty, and long imprisonment for political activists. My wife's only guilt has been defending these women's rights activists. It was shocking to see the Revolutionary Court has given her a sentence of flogging in addition to decades of imprisonment. Such sentences are inconceivable and shocking for lawyers and advocates. However, flogging such inhuman and cruel sentence is a clear example of torture for every human being. The prison that these women have been served their sentence in is extremely inhuman and mortifying. Archak prison, located south of Tehran, used to be a place to keep livestock. The Correctional Service Organization, instead of establishing a standard prison, has made this place worse than the conditions it used to be. A cramped place without a minimum standard, even suitable ventilation. Most of the cells in this prison are 10 square meters with 12 beds. These rooms have no windows or ventilation. Noting that Iran is among the worst countries regarding the spread of COVID-19. Sewage gas pervades the air all around the prison, and this catastrophic condition can make even a healthy person sick. Despite all this repression and pressure, with global solidarity and the support of public opinion, we still hope that all these efforts will culminate in freedom, peace, and equality around the world. Best regards, Reza Khandan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now to Walid Al-Hathlol, Lojane Al-Hathlol's brother, who will deliver remarks on her behalf. You have the floor, Mr. Al-Hathlol.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I wanted to start by saying good evening, Mr. Chair, honorable members of the committee. Good evening to my fellow activists. Thank you very much for honoring Lojane as an international human rights champion. So my name is Walid Al-Hathlol, and I am speaking on behalf of my younger sister, Lojane. Lojane was recently released after 34 months of unlawful imprisonment. Additionally, Lojane, along with my father, mother, brother, and sister, are unlawfully barred from traveling. Lojane should be the one delivering her own statement to this committee in commemoration of International Women's Day. However, she is barred from public speaking as part of the condition of her release from prison. As such, the onus falls on me to deliver this statement. I would like to take a moment to recognize and acknowledge the work of the numerous activists, civil society, and international organizations which continue to fight for Lojane's unconditional freedom. From the bottom of my heart, I thank them so very much for their support in helping us create the grassroots movement that had a big role in Lojane's release from prison and continued protection from any further harm. So in a better word, my sister Lojane would have been filled with enthusiasm to deliver this statement. She would have to deliver her statement and would have likely shared her experience in advocating for the creation of shelters for abused women in Saudi Arabia. She might have also shared a short clip of a video to explain and shed much needed awareness to insufferable male guardianship system in Saudi Arabia. So her initial crime, advocating and speaking publicly for women's rights in Saudi Arabia. So Lojane was kidnapped from the United Arab Emirates. She was deprived from finishing her master's degree. Lojane was illegally imprisoned and was brutally tortured, and she spent many consecutive months in solitary confinement. Lojane was declared to be a terrorist by the current Saudi government. Think about that, a terrorist. And she was sentenced to 5 years and 8 months in prison. For years now, the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, otherwise known as MBS, has been trying to defame Lojane. MBS tried to tarnish Lojane's image in a concerted effort to suffocate her spirit and to destroy any effort of support for her. In short, MBS wanted Lojane to be forgotten. However, the more time passed, the more Lojane proved to the world and our family how incredibly brave she is, and how resilient and attached to her values she is, and the righteousness of her cause for women's rights and empowerment. Lojane now has become a symbol of human rights defenders in Saudi Arabia, a symbol because the tragedy of what Lojane endured is only but one story out of the thousands of unlawfully imprisoned Saudi citizens who have been and continue to go through what she has endured. If you wonder why, it is only a reflection of how MBS has successfully managed to silence and scare the families of detainees from speaking up and advocating for their family members. Silence has become the norm in our Saudi Arabia, a totalitarian police state that will imprison relatives trying to save their detained ones. Whole families are unlawfully banned from traveling and forced into silence. Thankfully, some of us are out of the country and free to speak, free to become Lujain's silenced voice. And we have taken the oath to fight for her till the very end and to expose this tyrannical injustice. Respected members of the committee and members of the international community, our voice alone is not enough. The world needs to recognize Lujain's sacrifices, to know who she is, and to help us escalate her case. Lujain is a symbol of the current abominable situation in Saudi Arabia. She represents one of thousands of women and men who have been imprisoned or silenced in different ways, either by the government because of their activism or by the women's male guardian because they have spoken out against domestic violence. We as a family are public and outspoken because we have no other choice. We urge you to continue to stand your ground on what we all know to be morally right and consistent with universal human rights values. We urge you to hold the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, MBS, accountable for his numerous injustices and human rights violations by calling for nothing less than the unconditional freedom for Lujain, to call for the lift of the travel ban, of the illegal travel ban, to drop all her charges, to call for an independent investigation into the torture she has endured, and to hold those responsible of these crimes accountable. And finally, Mr. Chair, I wish to close by speaking directly to my sister, Lujain. Lujain, we are all so proud of you and we love you. You are a role model and my hero. The entire world knows you are not a terrorist, but an activist. We are with you in this. The entire world is celebrating for your tenacious work and for your incredible resilience. On this International Women's Day, I reaffirm my pledge to you, Lujain, and we will never stop fighting for you, and we will not let you down. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Well, thank you, Waleed. Thank you for being a powerful voice for your sister Lujain here, and we all commend you for your words. Thank you. We will now invite Tamara Adrian to deliver her remarks to the subcommittee. Tamara.
Mr. Chair, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Merci beaucoup. I am very, very proud of being here in this session, this historic session, I might say, and very honored by the fact of being honored by this subcommittee with this award. I will address briefly in French too. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the honor you are showing me by having invited me to join you here. Thank you for this recognition. Thank you to the subcommittee of the Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs and International Development of the Parliament of Canada.
In Venezuela, it's now worse than ever. The complex humanitarian crisis we are facing for years now, since 2015 or 14 mainly, but aggravated in 2018, that have caused that more than 4.6 million Venezuela have fled the country, particularly to the surrounding countries such as Colombia, that this same week enacted a status for Venezuelan migrants, temporary legal status for Venezuelan migrants, as well. Then today, the United States did the same. In this context, we don't have any more free and fair elections. The last one was the one I was elected back in 2015. And we did not participate in the elections because all our parties were basically seized via the judiciary and allocated to people that are collaborationists of the regime headed by Maduro. In this context, the possibility to recover democracy, it's much and more difficult. And we are trying to get as much support, international support as possible in order to make pressure to recover democracy in Venezuela. In this context, women are suffering a extraordinary burden. There is no contraceptive methods available at reasonable prices. The minimum wage is around $1.2 per month in this moment. And the cost of a box of contraceptives, it's around $20 in the market of Venezuela. Therefore, the number of non-wish pregnancies is increasing. The number of women dead because of illegal abortions, it's increasing. The number of malnourished children is increasing up to 36% of all children between 0 and 3 years, according to Caritas, the NGO head the Catholic Church in Venezuela. The circumstances surrounding the women that have fled the countries are very difficult, and they are often submitted to trafficking, human trafficking, and sexual harassment or even sexual exploitation. And in the case of LGBTI population, there is no rights whatsoever in the country. I myself haven't been able to get my name and gender change in my legal documents, in spite of the fact that I filed a petition with the Supreme Tribunal of Justice in May 2004. And the case of people living with HIV, it's terrible because antiretrovirals are practically non-existent in the country. In this very, very difficult context, we are fighting for democracy. And this recognition is for me an encouragement in order to continue this fight to get freedom, to get democracy, and to obtain free, fair, and accountable elections in Venezuela. Again, merci beaucoup.
Thank you for this recognition. And I will continue to fight for democracy, for freedom in Venezuela. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Tamara, for your courage, for being with us here today. Want to thank all of you for delivering really moving and powerful statements to all of us. You really lift our committee up to do the work that we do. I'm now going to invite a member of each of the non-government parties to give a short statement, beginning with our Vice Chair, Vice Chair Chu. You're going to have the floor now to be able to make your statement.
Thank you, Chair. We gather on this 2021 International Women's Day to honor 3 women who have devoted their lives to defending human rights, an undertaking that has come with great risk and severe consequences for them and their families. Nonetheless, These extraordinary women have set aside their personal safety to stand up for what is right and to make the world a better place. Honored recipients, as you continue this struggle despite the tremendous obstacles confronting you, you are a beacon of hope for girls, women, and men whose human rights are being violated across the globe. You are role models for other women human rights defenders and girls who aspire to live in a better world. Your tireless commitment to defending human rights is truly commendable. While we are here to honor the recipients, I would also like to take a moment to recognize the multitude of human rights defenders that we are unable to honor today. Those who could not accept a reward for fear of retaliation or persecution, and those who we were not aware of, but continue to work tirelessly and without recognition. It is my hope that your efforts will succeed and you will serve as an example as well. For our honored guests, in giving you this award, the subcommittee wants you to know that your selfless dedication is not going unnoticed. While it is despised by some, it is valued by many, including us, the members of this subcommittee. Before closing, I want to reiterate what my colleagues have already said. We believe in what you do and stand with you in your defense of human rights. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chu. Thank you for those remarks. And now we're going to go to Vice Chair Monsieur Brunel Duceppe for some words.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Tamara, Walid, and Shaparak, thank you for being with us today. It's with great pleasure and a good deal of humility that I speak to you today, aware as I am of the incredible qualities of the three women we are honoring this evening tonight in honor of International Women's Day. You have overcome incredible obstacles, and your devotion is unequaled. Your having turned up tonight and spoken to us tonight really underscores the importance of this event. The subcommittee wants you to know that we recognize the value of your work and that we stand alongside you. We stand alongside all other women who, like you, are defending women's rights around the world. It's thanks to women like you that so many others can take their rights, can use their rights, can benefit from their rights since you have started your work. That's why this is important, and that's why it's important that you're here with us tonight. Your undertakings, even in the face of great obstacles, continues to encourage all human rights defenders and the next generation of young women and girls who may face fewer obstacles thanks to you. It's really important to say just how much you inspire and lead the way for others. I have no doubt that the members of this subcommittee and all here present will agree with me that you are a source of inspiration to us all, and you are for the world. This is really an important thing. This is important. You are such prominent leaders. I don't want to be too long. I know that others will want to speak, but I just can't thank you enough. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for inspiring all of us, being an inspiration to us all. So many other women are inspired by you, and not only women, men as well. You're inspiring men who stand beside you, who stand beside their sisters, wives, daughters, and that's an important part of the work you're doing. What you're doing is so necessary. It must be done. Without you, we will not be able to change the situation. And you're showing the way in such an incredible way. I thank you sincerely, and good evening.
Monsieur Brunel du Step. And now we'll hear from MP McPherson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Today on International Women's Day, I am joining you from Alberta, from Treaty 6 territory. And I would like to take this opportunity to offer particular thanks to each of you for making the time and the sacrifice to be with us this evening and for sharing some of your stories with us. The passion that you have for advancing human rights has been nothing short of inspiring for me, and I think it's safe to say for my fellow parliamentarians as well. Prior to becoming a member of parliament, I worked for over 20 years to protect human rights around the world. And it's an honor to take part in this event that seeks to spotlight both the important human rights issues that each of our recipients are involved in, as well as the dangers that face women who defend human rights. I'm particularly moved by the stories of hardships that these women have suffered on account of their gender, and their bravery in facing these additional risks is humbling and a reminder that much work is left to be done in the work of fighting gender equality worldwide, including in Canada, where we must do more to protect marginalized populations, including Indigenous women and girls. In closing, I would simply like to express my gratitude to each of the candidates for doing this critical work. Their efforts to make this world more equitable, just and free for everyone are truly an inspiration. Thank you.
Well, thank you, members, for your interventions on this meaningful occasion. To commemorate the recognition of these three women human rights defenders, the subcommittee is awarding each recipient a framed certificate and a Canadian-made loon figurine. The clerk will now display an example of each.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm holding the loon here, and the certificates will be printed and framed and mailed. I'm afraid I don't have an example with me today.
Well, thank you, Mr. Clerk, and those will be shipped out to you in the next day or two. Thank you so much. And on behalf of the subcommittee now, I'd like to thank everyone for your presence here tonight in a show of support for this initiative and for the work of our award recipients. This event would not have been possible without the work of many staff members, and I'd like to acknowledge and thank them for ensuring that this event was able to occur and run smoothly in the midst of the challenges posed by the current pandemic. I'd like to once again thank our speaker, Speaker Rhoda, for his presence and willingness to participate in this important event. Thank you, Speaker Rhoda. And finally, I know that I speak for all of us here in expressing gratitude to each of the recipients and their representatives. Thank you not only for taking the time to be with us and speak with us this evening, but for all that you have done to defend the rights of the vulnerable. Please be assured of the support of our subcommittee in your continuing work. Thank you to everyone. Thank you. And this will adjourn our meeting.